Hi guys, I think I'm gonna have to start again because we had a problem there. Sorry about that. So what I was talking about is the topic of gaslighting and different manipulative tools that people can use as a way to gain power, control, and dominance over you. One of the tactics that they can use is gaslighting. So what is gaslighting? Gaslighting is a form of psychological abuse which is designed to, number one, cause you to question yourself, your memory, your sanity, your perception. Number two, to gain power, control, and take power from you. And number three, to really break you down. People can do this consciously or they can do it unconsciously. You know, sometimes people are doing it because it's something that is learned. It's something that they learned in their home and they are mimicking it. And sometimes it is done with intent. So I want to talk a little bit about one of the tactics that is used with this. So one thing is a smear campaign. So what is a smear campaign? A smear campaign is where a person will create a campaign against you and put poison in people's minds about you. They implant poisonous seeds of doubt, they tell lies, they mix truth with lies, they create rumors. What is this designed to do? Well, it's designed to create destruction upon you. It's designed to discredit you, discredit your reputation, and to really cause damage and harm to you. So this can really play out in any kind of environment, and I'm going to name a few. So one is within the family environment. So this can occur where you have one family or perhaps more than one family member who wants to have control. So what they do is they will use other family members as a way to influence you and gain what they want. When they can't get what they want, often what they do is they tell lies, they manipulate things, they spread rumors, they cause trouble within the family in an effort to get the family or family members to turn against you. Well, why are they doing that? Because they're wanting to gain control. So this might show up as other people start fighting with you, they pick on you, they bully you. You know, bullying doesn't have to be spoken words. It can be that they cut off from you. It can be that they give you the cold shoulder. They don't talk to you. They say, you know, nasty things about you. Well, what is going on here? Well, there's a message being sent to you. The core messages are, you're wrong, you're bad perhaps. And why do they want you to get that? Because they want you to change your behavior so that you conform to what is expected of you. Now, here's the thing about gaslighting and a smear campaign and the different tactics that are used. You know, these tactics are often used by somebody who is has very strong narcissistic traits. So a person who has very strong narcissistic traits, they're not really able to see you as a person for who you are. They have a distorted perception, so they're seeing you more from the perspective of what they can get, what they can gain, and how they can use. So the thing is this can be done in a very hidden way. And when you can't see it happening, there's a real danger there because you can't really do much about it. So one of the first steps to changing this is actually being able to see it. So all the things in the way of you being able to see it, can we cancel, resolve, dissolve, choose, void, choose, from the source point on all levels of your being, AEWS precisely. So all of the ways any muck has been thrown at you energetically or in any other way, and anything that has been done in an attempt to create destruction in your life, to discredit you, to destroy your reputation, to freeze you out, can we clear all of that out? Can we cancel, resolve, dissolve, switch you from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS precisely? So part of what can assist you in moving beyond gaslighting emotional manipulation, the tactics that the gaslighter uses is actually, first of all, looking at, well, what's going on here and what is the agenda? So you expand your energy to connect to source and just ask the question, what is this person's agenda? What is going to happen when you're in that space of expansion? You're in the space of awareness. You get a lot of awareness, a lot of insights, a lot of downloads. You'll get the information about what is going on. That can help you to emotionally, energetically, psychologically detach from things. Because here's the thing, if you're told all of your life that you're not good enough, that you should be a certain way, you know, these are all the messages that are sent to you. They're either told to you or they're impelled upon you through gaslighting. You start to believe it. You start to doubt yourself. You start to believe that you're the problem. But that's part of the game, because then they have power and control over you. So all the ways you're stuck in the game, can we start to clear that out? Can we cancel, resolve, dissolve, choose, void, choose you from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS precisely? And can we show you how to get out of the game and all things in the way of that? Let's cancel, resolve, dissolve, choose, void, choose you from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS precisely. So what happens is you're told loads of lies about yourself. This can be spoken, it can be energetic, it can be implanted, it can be impelled onto you. So you start to have this perception of yourself, a false perception built on lies, like I'm wrong, I'm terrible, I'm bad, I'm the problem. Well, you might be a problem in the eyes of the gaslighter, but that doesn't mean you're the problem. Part of the problem you might be for them is you're not controllable. So can we let go of all of the lies that you have formed about yourself based on the experiences of being gaslit, having any type of smear campaign against you? Let's cancel, resolve, dissolve, choose, choose you from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS precisely. Another thing that is really something that is used within all of this type of abuse is there's a lot of projection going on. So the person who is gaslighting you will start to tell you things from the space of projection, how they actually see themselves. And sometimes you buy that as true. So you've took on the image of themselves and owned that as you. So all the ways you've done that, can we release you from that? Can we cancel, resolve, dissolve, choose, choose you from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS? I see. So if you had a parent who was gaslighting you, that's a big problem. So I'm curious to know, how have you been gaslit? So back to what I was saying, if you had a parent gaslighting you, and this has been going on since you were very little, this is a big problem, because we rely on our parents to reflect back to us our image so that we can learn to see ourselves clearly. If a parent cannot see you, or they are projecting themselves onto you, they are abusive, they are gaslighting, you create this false image of you. So if someone blames you in the now or puts you down, your natural disposition is going to be to go to, what did I do wrong? I'm the problem, I'm bad. And probably you'll try and fix it. But what if you're not? So you have to start to learn to see who you really are through the eyes of source energy, the way that you were created in source's eyes, not based on the images that were projected onto you. So can we show you how to begin to see who you truly are? And can we start to let go of those images that whoever and any parental figures has projected onto you, which keeps you in the disposition of, I am wrong, I'm terrible, I'm bad, I'm the problem, which is the motivation for the behavior of, I need to fix it. Because the needing to fix it is coming from the guilt and the shame of the false identity of who you think you are. And when you go to fix it, you're under the control of the gaslighter. It's like you're like a puppet. So let's start to break those puppet strings and all things in the way of that. Let's cancel, resolve, dissolve, choose, void, choose you from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS precisely. So how do you get free from those strings? Well, number one, it's starting to learn who you are. Looking at what is their agenda, who am I, what is the truth, and how are they controlling you? Well, a lot of the time they're controlling you through your own emotions, guilt, shame. They're actually very good at reading things and emotions, and sometimes they can mimic empathy as well. You know, you can have someone who uses these tactics who really mimic empathy, but it's actually not real, you know, and they will mimic kindness. So let's show you that you recognize what is real, and that you can recognize covert gaslighting, covert manipulation, and all things in the way of that. Let's cancel, resolve, dissolve, choose forward, choose you from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS precisely. So once you start to let go of the lies, the falsehood, you start to see who you are, you recognize their agenda, you can separate from it and you do not buy into it. And actually, as you start to heal yourself, you start to recognize who you are and your value. And when you truly value yourself, if you see this behavior, you're not going to accept it. So it can happen within a family context. It can happen within business. So how might it happen in business? Well, an example might be, you know, there's someone in your industry who feels threatened by you. So they tell lies, they spread rumors, they try to destroy your reputation or discredit you, or perhaps they try to take credit for your work. Well, what is at the root of this is usually about insecurity, them feeling jealous and them feeling threatened. So part of moving beyond that is really actually seeing what is going on. And, you know, you can also look at, well, what is this doing to me? What is this bringing up for me? Because if it's really upsetting you, it's really triggering you, there's something in you that needs to actually be worked on to change. So another way, so let's just do a clearing on that. So all of the ways, if this applies to you, you have experienced gaslighting in business, can we bring in truth and clarity and all things in the way of that? Let's cancel, resolve, dissolve. Choose what you do from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS precisely. So if any of you have experienced that in business or work or in any other way, please do let me know. You know, it can happen in the work environment as well, where people spread rumors. They don't want to be with you. They don't want to sit with you. They reject you. It's kind of like the energy I'm picking up that some of you are experiencing. It's quite schoolyardish like. So it can happen in many different ways, you know. And unfortunately, you know, a lot of people who have a lot of these narcissistic traits, they end up in very high-powered positions and they misuse their power. So all of the ways within the work environment, within your industry, within any industry that you've been involved in, you have had gaslighting, you have had a smear campaign, you have experienced manipulation, cancel, resolve, dissolve, choose what you do from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS. So if you're experiencing that, you can just ask source energy, how can I move beyond this? What do I need to do? What is the action that I need to create? And what will happen is you'll get that awareness and then you need to take action. So all things in the way of that, let's cancel, resolve, dissolve, choose what you do from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS. So then another way it can play out is in romantic relationships. It can play out with friendships. It can play out in many different ways. But let me talk about romantic relationships for a moment. So have any of you experienced it, and how has it played out? Well, one way can be, you know, you're in a relationship with someone, and what they can do is they start to tell lies or twist things to people outside of the relationship about you behind your back. This is a smear campaign, so what they're attempting to do is probably discredit you. There can be a destructive element, but often what this is about is they know that somewhere within them they have behaved in ways that are not really in alignment with the way that they should behave, and they feel shame and guilt. So they don't want to feel that shame and guilt. So they pick out things, they tell lies about you, or they pick out little things, they nitpick, and they tell things about you. What are they trying to do? Well, they're trying to control the perception of the other person about you, but probably more so about them, so that they can look good in their eyes. So all of that, can we cancel, resolve, dissolve, choose what you do from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS. So all of the ways in any time anybody has tried to control your perception of anything, can we free you from that now? Can we cancel, resolve, dissolve, choose what you do from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS. It can happen between parents where one wants to have control, the other one wants to have control. The child is in the middle and is a pawn. And this is the energy that's coming up right now. This can be the adult child. So all the ways that you have been used as a pawn in someone else's game, can we bring light to that and can we clear that out? Okay, so then within that, there needs to be something that changes within you. Something that you have to let go of, and you have to step into a different energy, and part of that is having boundaries and actually saying no and stepping out of that. So if you are stuck in the middle like that, even if it was something in the past and it hasn't been fully resolved, you can be carrying their feelings, their thoughts, their stories, their perceptions, you know, anything that is there. So everything that you're carrying from them or anyone else, and anywhere you're stuck in the middle of anyone else's relationship, can we ask that you're took out of that now and cancel, resolve, dissolve, choose, way, choose you from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS. I see all the ways you're stuck in anyone else's game. Let's show you how to step out of that, and let's cancel, resolve, dissolve, choose, for, choose you from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS, precisely. Because for some of you, what this is doing is, I'm seeing in the brain area, some of you have other people's desire to control your perception. The energy of that is within you and it's not allowing you to see clearly. So can we clear that out? So all of the ways anyone, anytime, any place has attempted to alter your perception of yourself, of others, of reality, can we cancel, resolve, dissolve, choose, which is it from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS, precisely. Cancel, resolve, dissolve, choose, for, choose you from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS, precisely. So, bit of a weird thing I'm going to say now. It might sound a bit odd. So, sometimes there can be a comfort within someone wanting to control us. If there was a comfort within that, what would that be? If that resonates with any of you, sometimes it can be, well, you know, people might say to me, well, I don't want the responsibility. So it's kind of like you hand the power over to someone else. Because part of reclaiming your power is giving up and moving beyond the unconscious need or the energetic unconscious invitations to be controlled. So if anything comes up, just let me know. So let's start to clear it out. Let's cancel, resolve, dissolve, choose, way, choose you from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS. So all of the perceived value in being controlled, let's cancel, resolve, dissolve, choose, way, choose you from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS. I'm seeing some people have really confused love with control, love with possession. So when you experience possession in a relationship, you might think on some level or feel that that's love, that means that you're lovable. Well, can we let that go and can we disentangle that and can we do that from the point that it was created and awaken the truth of what true love is, separating love from control, cancel, resolve, dissolve, choose, for, choose you from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS, precisely, separating love from dominance, cancel, resolve, dissolve, choose, for, choose you from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS, and separating love from mind games, cancel, resolve, dissolve, choose, for, choose you from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS, precisely. So when someone spreads these poisonous rumors or puts poisonous seeds of doubt in your mind, there's an energetic component as well. They're putting energetic things in. I can see it like as, you know, energetic eggs, poison, energetic poisons into your relationships, into your business, your self-confidence. Can we start to clear all of that out? And for some of you, there's a lack of clarity and really understanding, well, who is good for me and who is not. So let's bring that clarity in and let's ask that it is brought to your awareness what you need to see, know, and recognize in order for you to have total clarity on that. And let's just clear out the rest. Let's cancel, resolve, dissolve. Choose, for, choose you from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS, precisely. So how else might gaslighting play out? Well, if you look at a relationship, you know, I'm going to give you an example. One thing is you've got one person and they might bring someone else into the relationship. You know, that can be about telling stories about other men or women or ex-partners, comparing you sexually. It can be texting, it can be flirting. Well, what's the game here? It's all about trying to break you down, make you feel insecure. And if you're insecure, then they have some kind of power over you. I'm kind of seeing it like a spider trap energetically. So can we take the spider trap off of you and all things in the way of that and all of the things anchoring that in? Let's cancel, resolve, dissolve. She switches you from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS precisely. So let's show you that you can recognize gaslighting. And again, in relationships, if you look, you have to look, well, what's the agenda here? Usually when they play games like that, it's because they feel afraid of losing you. They feel insecure. It can be some kind of playing out of their own abuse. Because, you know, the person who's playing these games, they've learned that somewhere. And usually there's a lot of wounding and abuse within that. But that doesn't give them a right to do that to you. So any excuse or justification that you have made for that, can we cancel, resolve, dissolve? Choose forces you from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS precisely. Revoke, renounce, denounce, cancel, resolve, dissolve. Choose forces you from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS precisely. Okay, guys, so gaslighting, you know, these types of games, they happen everywhere. They happen in relationships, in friendships, in family, you know, people in power. They use that against us. They use tactics to divide us as a way to gain power and control, to put us in positions of being disempowered so that they can gain power and control. So all the ways you've experienced it, known, unknown, conscious, unconscious, within any type of structure, place, dynamic, let's just start to bring in light awareness, because when you have awareness and light and truth, you can see clearly. With clarity, you can do something about it. So let's resolve all the things in the way of that from the source point on all levels of your being, AWS precisely. So, you know, gaslighting is something that really does a lot of damage. It does a lot of mental damage, you know, it damages you. And, you know, some of the consequences of being gaslit, you know, you gaslight yourself, you tell yourself you're not good enough. Something comes out of your mouth and you start to go into your head and you start to ask yourself, why did you do that? Why did you say that? You shouldn't do that. You have all of these internal rules that you're living by, but these rules are created by the person who perpetrated the gaslighting and the mental, psychological abuse onto you. You know, you lose confidence. You know, you can't really freely communicate. So, you know, the energy gets locked into your body. You know, it can manifest as different things. Really, one of the primary things it does is it wears you down, it breaks you, it breaks your confidence, which affects everything. So it's really important to actually heal the effects of it. It's not really about healing what was done. It's more about healing how did it impact you and how's it impacting you now. And when we have these things left unresolved within us, how does it impact us? So it impacts money, it impacts our relationships. We bring this into our relationships. It erodes our self-esteem, affects the business, everything. So it's really important to heal it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today. Please drink plenty of water. You can listen again and it will clear on another level. So I am doing a 3-part webinar series which starts on April 11th. It's called Gaslighting No More. So we're going to be looking at gaslighting, emotional abuse, psychological abuse, how it's impacted you, clearing it out, you know, so that you no longer tolerate it, what to do about it. So this is something that I experienced my whole life from being a baby. And I never even really, it was so normal to me. And it, as I said, it was about 22 that the penny dropped. So what I'm sharing in this is really the things that I have learned from my own personal experience, how to overcome it, and working with thousands of different clients. So it's a 3-part webinar series. It's online. It's recorded. You can access the replays if you want. You can receive personal facilitation if you want, or you can just receive the clearings through listening. It's really up to you. And there's 3 clearing loops as well. With the clearing loops, we take all of the healing statements that we take from each call, put it on a little loop, and you listen to it as you sleep. So between each calls, you listen and you're clearing away layers and layers and layers of different energy. So this is an effective way to clear these things out. So I'm going to share the link below. If you would like, you can go direct to my website, www.lauramason.co.uk. Go to calendar and it's Gaslighting No More, or go into Alchemize Gaslighting No More. But as I said, I'll share the link here. Okay, guys, thank you very much for joining. Wishing you all a very happy Easter and a good weekend. Bye-bye for now.